So Sean, we've talked about 7 near-death experiences that you've had, and now it's time to move on to the decades of your life. So let's start off with your first decade. And here we have a picture of Roger Moore. Why don't we start off with, in this session, with your earliest memories of Roger Moore, Sir Roger?
He was my dad from 46, so I was 3 years old, to 53, 10 years old. Obviously I don't remember anything before being 3, but what I do remember for that space of time is living with him in Buckley Road and Wavertree Court in Streatham. Let's see, he used to take me and my little yacht to Clapham Common Pond to sail the yacht. He took me to Battersea Fun Fair. I remember we were visiting some friends, Joy and Big Bont's Jack in Tooting. They had a son called Christopher who became my buddy.
And these were friends of Dawn's and Roger's?
Roger's, yeah. Well, I was maybe 4 or 5, and I insisted on walking down the steps of a London double-decker, you know, and I couldn't really hear or speak. I just...
And how old were you?
About 4 or 5.
Right.
And I was wearing this yellow outfit. I always remember that. I kind of really didn't like it because it... well,
Right.
Anyway, when the bus came to a halt, I fell off, hit the curb and cracked my head right here. When I was 9, I had a difficulty with my hearing and speaking, and that's why I was kind of put in the retarded school, because they thought I was retarded, which I guess I was. But when I was 9, they realized I couldn't hear, and I was put in hospital.
So they didn't know any better?
No.
Right.
You know, a lot of things slip through the cracks in wars today as well.
Yeah.
And the Second World War was no different. It was because of the Second World War I had the problem with my ears, as I couldn't hear, so consequently I couldn't speak. But anyway, after the operation, when I woke up, there was Roger with a stamp album, and
in the hospital?
Yeah, by my bedside. And I didn't really see my mother much. She was out skating all over the place, enjoying herself. So I spent quite a bit of time with Roger, and I guess out of all the fathers I've had, and there's been quite a few, and I've been finding a few more since my mother passed away, he was most guiding. Because you've got to remember, if you can't hear and you're in a boarding school specifically for retarded kids from acting families, it was like something out of Fagin's Charles Dickens, dripping walls, and the fees didn't get paid, so I got the hand-me-down clothes, and I always remember looking for pins to put the holes together so people wouldn't see it.
But what was he like? Can you remember, like, personally?
Oh, he was fun. He was great, like us. Yeah, well, I always got along well with him, and actually I felt more attuned with him, not because I'm a guy, but I rarely saw my mother. Right. She was out enjoying herself, skating all around the world, and Roger was getting his stuff together, and I was there during that period that he was doing it.
And you were living with your grandparents at the time, or you were living with Roger and Dawn?
Roger and Dawn in, first of all, Buckley Road, It got bombed during the war. I think my grandparents owned that. Then my Auntie Flower took it over. We lived right upstairs, and I remember as you went in the door, it was like the loft kind of thing. My bed was to the left and their bed was to the right, and I used to share the bathtub with them, and it was cozy. And I remember the electric fire. You go in the door, the electric fire was on the right, and once I think my mother put some washing in front of it and it caught fire. Nearly burnt down. Yeah. There's probably a lot of other things as well, but when you have to, I'm 73 now, and here am I transporting my mind to the first 10 years of my life, which were kind of pretty bizarre, but I think I turned out okay.
I think you turned out marvellously, darling.
Well, people were saying, why aren't you in the nut house? Why aren't you in prison? Why aren't you 6 feet under? God's been looking after me.
By the grace of God.
But yeah, I'm going through all this stuff. I found this old laundry box with a lot of stuff in it, dating back before my time, but actually my time. This is my English Literature Advanced Level examination for the University of London. It's called a GCE, and you have to have 5 ordinary levels, which is the pink one, which I took in the school in Israel, Tabitha School. Then I went back to England when I was 18 to take my advanced levels at Battersea Grammar School, and these are the exams that I took. I think it was English Literature, Hebrew, French, Religious Knowledge. And it looks like my mother saved these. This laundry box I'm still going through, by the way.
It's pretty extraordinary that the colours have still remained.
Well, it's been in this. It's got all my London County Council, M108.
So you went to the same school for these courses as did Sir Roger?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And during the war, it was used as a prisoner of war camp for the higher up,
Prisoners.
yeah, German prisoners.
That
But
had a history, didn't it? That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's still around. I was in London about 6 months ago. I went to Wavertree Court, I went to Buckley Road, I went to Battersea Grammar School, all the places I used to hang out and what I remembered. And
You're talking about your art life as a photographer and other artists that you've worked with and had friendships with over your years in DC. We'd also, I'd mentioned it'd be nice to have some group discussions with those artists. Bill thought that it was a really cool idea that we could tape some of those discussions too, because that'd be pretty lively. In thinking about that, it'd be really nice if, I don't know if we
what about if
ask Roger Moore, or if he knows that this is, kind of what you're doing, for him to have a little input in some way would be so cool.
well, we have been in touch last 10 or so years, and it's I really appreciate him responding, because I let him know what I'm doing, because he was my stepfather and I am his stepson.
And you have maintained communication with him
Yeah.
over your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So yeah, this.
That would be really lovely. That would be, well, think about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I could go through my photographs of famous people, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Reagan, and Muhammad Ali.
Driver,
Yeah, all that lot.
Bill Clinton. That's right.
But there are some notables that I may be able to get so that they can give their impression of me, how it was in the beginning, and because I keep in touch with these people, the same like I keep in touch with Roger, but with Roger it's more personal because it's family.
Absolutely.
And I can't help my feelings.
Well, you were so little then. I mean, you were just a little chap.
Yeah.
So, but to have that relationship established when you were really nice, it'd be kind of nice to have it reinforced or confirmed, you know, with a little word from him in support of, you know,
I have,
this.
like I mentioned before, my memories of him are fonder than those of my mother. Like, she would get upset at Roger for something and she'd take it out on me, and I always remember Wavertree Court coming into the kitchen and the sink was there, and she'd sit me down and I was wearing my short trousers, and she'd get her horsewhip out and beat me on the legs with the horsewhip. Whereas Roger was the complete opposite.
Genteel.
Very gentle. But as it turned out, Dawn went to Israel in 1953 and I followed in 1955, and that's the escaping death. I had the El Al ticket,
Yes.
but changed to KLM at the last minute, and that El Al was shot down over Bulgaria, 26th of July, 2 days before my birthday, my 12th birthday, 1955.
So you haven't seen Roger since when?
I last saw him, it would be in the 70s, early 70s. I popped by to say hello with my cousin Jeremy. Jeremy now lives in San Diego.
Okay, let's just play along with me here for a minute. If you were to ask him, if he was here, what would you ask him now? If he was, okay, look at the camera now.
Yeah, but tell me what to say.
A request. If you were going to ask him to either say a little word on video or write something in support of your video biography to acknowledge that, you know, he was part of your life and that he does support what you're doing, to tell your own story, as he wrote in the copy of his book that he sent to you, what would you ask him? How would you ask him?
Well, I'd just say point blank, can you do something to help me with this task I've taken upon myself to authentically reproduce my first 10 years of life. They are kind of a bit difficult, and it's probably a bit difficult for you as well, because it means transporting the mind back all those years. But I wanted to get your opinion, and if you could help in any manner by sending a video or a little clip or something that I can include in the biography / picture book.
This is about Sean's life, and this is a request for you possibly to send any memories that you might have of Sean when he was a little boy.
Well, thank you. That's a way of putting it. I didn't know how to ask, really.
You can't remember yourself as a little boy, but he surely would remember you, I would think.
Well, you know, the more I've been delving into the different facets and different slices of the pie, the more slices it's becoming. And when we first met, you and your husband, you had no idea, because this is what you do for a living.
That's right.
You listen to people's stories and create a video, create a story, and we've been doing this now for 3 months, 4 months.
That's right.
70, 80 hours of film so far.
Well, you have a lot of stories to tell. You have a huge life experience, a collection of memories and stories and experiences which are pretty extraordinary. Most people, you know, this is more than most people could possibly imagine, what you've stacked into your life to date. Especially
in the Washington area. Oh, by the way, this is where I live, in the City of Falls Church, Virginia. Been here.
Virginia.
Yeah. And this is stuff that I've found making files and folders and going through the box of stuff.
So we'll wrap this little pre-production up now, but that was that gives us a lot to think about.
Something that all the people in the City of Falls Church, they know me, and I drive that funny little mini moke that was made for the British military base.
But they have no idea the wealth of life experiences that you've had. They just know you from maybe bits and pieces, but there's just so much to know. So that's going to be interesting for the people that you know, but also for the people that you've touched over the years, not just in Falls Church.
Right. So around the world, really.
That's right.
Now, each year I used to take Simon for 25 years in a row, somewhere in the world we hadn't been to. And then one year, I think it was 96, we wanted to go around the world in 80 days. We got a flight to London, then to Delhi,
like the story.
Thailand, Hong Kong, it was still British,
Yeah.
China, Macau, back to Hong Kong, Japan, Mount Fuji, and back to America. Around the world in 80 days. And he works for the State Department in his nickname is the Great Communicator, because he produces and directs videos that are seen all over the world. I'm pretty proud of him, and I think in a way he's proud of me, what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And we haven't done any video with him at all.
Not yet. We haven't even scratched the surface, dear man.
I know. And I know Sweet Pea and Doll behind the camera. Thank you.